Hey everybody, welcome back to Towers Books and Beyond and day 37 of VEDUS, and let's talk about the Death Star attack. It's been the subject of the past few days worth of certain point of view stories, and the one thing that I haven't really mentioned during all of these is the fact that almost everyone thought that it was going to fail. They knew they had to fight, but in the back of their minds they're all thinking, this isn't going to work, we can't pull this off, we're gonna get blown up and the Empire's going to win. Just period, that's it. This is the end of the line for freedom in the galaxy. Forever, basically. Such is the focus of today's story, which is Contingency Plan by Alexander Freed, and it focuses on Mon Mothma, who is one of the major rebellion commanders, as she and her small crew takes all the information that they can and flees from Yavin 4 before the Empire even shows up, in the hopes that they'll be able to throw together some kind of Plan B. And over the course of the story, Mon Mothma, she imagines like several different futures as to what could happen if the Empire does manage to blow up the rebellion, if the rebellion fails, which is very likely. But in Mon's mind, she rightfully believes that this is the make it or break it moment for the rebellion. If the Empire wins, then either no one's going to want to side with the rebellion, and so they're all just going to work with the Empire because they don't want their plan to get blown up, or maybe everyone will side with the rebellion after seeing the horrors the Empire's done, and then immediately get blown up by the Empire. Or the third option is that Mon just immediately surrenders because she can learn to live with a lot of things for the sake of defeating the Empire, but she can't accept billions of people dying with the flip of a switch. It kind of goes back to the Afra story, where at a certain point you want to accept despair, but peace over years and years of war. And so at the end, when they do actually win, when the Death Star is destroyed, she's relieved and she's happy that the rebellion now has a chance, and this has kind of galvanized everything, but at the same time she's kind of dreading the coming years because now they have to see this war through. And yes, obviously the Empire needs to be defeated, but she's starting to buckle under the pressure of just being a commander in the background, sitting on the sidelines and just pressing buttons to declare which people have to go out and risk their lives and possibly sacrifice themselves for the sake of others. So many of these recent stories, but this one especially, are about the cost of war and the cost of victory and whether those costs are worth it, or even if they are worth it, how much of an emotional toll it can take on the people who declared that they had to sacrifice themselves in the first place. Like, it's really heavy shit, but it's so well written. So let's lighten things up a bit. The Force Doth Awaken Act 4. As per tradition, this is where we get that little meta scene between two bit characters. This one is between two First Order troopers, and one of them was a trooper for the Empire. So he's telling the younger guy about how so many things have changed, like how he used to work on this giant destructive space station, taking orders from a guy cloaked in black, wielding a red lightsaber, and searching for droids that had smuggled important information, and having to fight a group of heroes, one of whom was raised on a desert planet. It's just so different now from what it was back then when the Empire was first doing their thing. Everything's completely changed. Actually, speaking about New Hope references, there's also a different, more subtle one. Back in New Hope, just before they're about to attack the Death Star, Luke gives a rousing speech. That's a play on the St. Crispin's Day speech from Henry V. And here, Han gives a similar speech, and it is moved around and tweaked a bit, but it still has recognizable parts, like, "Ye who spills blood with me shall be my brother," something along those lines. So it was another more subtle and even more meta reference to how there are many similarities between A New Hope and Force Awakens. So I thought that was especially clever. And that concludes today's VEDUS update. We've only got one act of one play left. Well, at least until The Last Jedi gets a play adaptation, but there's no way I'd be able to stretch a single play into 40 days. And you guys know the drill. You can hit that subscribe button or check me out on some social media. And until tomorrow, I'll see you all later.